Good morning, good looking people, and you're good looking because you're always looking. And of course, you are finding the good in everything and in everybody. Hope you're well. Hope you are having a great Pesach. Today we're doing the Hayom Yom for the 19th of Nissan, which is the fourth day of the Omer. So just a reminder to please count the Omer. This Hayom Yom is super duper long. So I'm going to try to just read it inside and give you the points as we go along. But ideally what the Rebbe is doing here is taking the four questions and giving the mystical approach to the four questions and how it relates to us, and comparing the different exiles that we've been through to the current exile, and that every exile really, we go through a lot. And in this world, every challenge that we go through helps create a better us. It improves us and it gets us ready for the ultimate redemption. And being that we're in the month of Nissan, it says it's the opportune time for the redemption is the month of Nissan, especially on Pesach. So as we read about it and as we indulge in telling the story of the redemption, we should know that this is the opportune time that Mashiach is coming today. Amen. Let's read inside. So first of all, the year 1943, when this Hayom Yom came out, it was actually Shabbos Chol HaMoed Pesach. And again, a reminder, it's the fourth day of the Omer to count the Omer. Some notes. Whenever Shabbos coincides with Yom Tov, or as in the present case, which one of the days of Chol HaMoed, the wording in the last stanza we say on Lecha Dodi, at davening at night, we add the words B'simcha, Gam B'simcha Uvetzala, which means to rejoice and with gladness. The second instruction is that the passages beginning Shalom Aleichem, Eshes Chayil, and Mizmor LeDavid and Dahi Sedasa, they are recited on a Friday night. Those passages beginning with Vayitin Lecha are recited after Havdalah. They should all be said in a whisper. So again, just two instructions, and why the Rebbe always brings up these instructions in the Hayom Yom is to explain what our minhagim are as compared to what others may be doing. Okay, for the Hayom Yom, here we go. My revered father, the Rebbe Rashab, once gave the following mystical interpretation of the four questions. Number one, why is this night, this final exile, this exile is symbolized by night, different from all other nights? So why is this exile that we're in now different from all the other exiles? On all other nights, we do not dip, and the word is madbilin, which means to immersion, meaning scouring and cleansing and purification even once, that our souls don't even go through this even one time. The process of cleansing was not completed in previous exiles, as it is evident from the fact that each was followed by another exile. So what it's saying here in this first question is that we have to go through all these different dippings because whatever needed to be done in the previous exiles was not completed. On this night, we dip twice, once to scour the body and once to reveal the soul, that this is the ultimate redemption, that it's doing two parts. One is it's cleansing the body, but on the second part, it's also cleansing the soul. Second question. On all other nights, we eat chametz or matzah. Following all other exiles, our divine service involved both the godly soul, symbolized by matzah, which represents bittul and self-nullification, and the animal soul, which is symbolized by chametz, which represents yeshus, which means egoism. On this night, after this final exile, we only eat matzah, for the spirit of impurity will be removed from this world. So the second question is, in the past, we eat chametz and matzah, one referring to bittul, which means self-nullification. The other one is ego, that now in this ultimate exile, we're going to be in a place of removing all that impurity, and it'll be removed from this world, and will all be about bittul, about self-nullification. Third question. On all other nights, we eat other vegetables. This recalls the proper saying that when a person becomes envious, his face turns green. During all other exiles, there are many kinds of envy, including negative ones, such as envying another's wealth, and also positive kinds of envy, such as envy, being envious of a scholar or of their learning or their increased wisdom. On this night, after this exile, we eat only maror. Envy will only be for positive and of the most intense kind, as the sages says, in the world to come, every tzaddik will be singed and burned by the fiery canopy of his colleague. So the third bracha is referring to the mystical approach of being envious of only positive things. It used to be in the exiles that there were people that were envious of people's wealth and of their personal belongings and everything related to negativity. But there's also this positive that we say in other Hayom Yom, that we should be jealous of other people's wisdom, of scholarly things. And in this ultimate exile, that's what the focus will be, only on the positive side of things, being envious of somebody's Torah mitzvahs. And the last question is, on all other nights, we eat either sitting or reclining. In the case of all the revelations elicited by the divine service of Jews throughout the exiles, we eat and we experience the pleasure that Hashem derives from the service. Now that there's a mere emanation of this pleasure, and there is a pleasure of itself, some people through their divine service reach a point of spiritual growth at which they apprehend merely an emanation of God's pleasure. Each others at a point which they can apprehend the very essence of his pleasure. Sitting connotes limited level of relaxed pleasure. Reclining connotes the ultimate level of pleasure and tranquility. Hence, on this night, after this exile, we are reclining. Every Jew will reach the level at which they will apprehend the ultimate level of Hashem's delight. So what's being said in the fourth bracha is that there's this concept of sitting and reclining. However, reclining is the ultimate of God's emanations, and seeing the ultimate pleasure of being in God's presence. And through this last exile, we will be reclining, which means we will reach this ultimate level of God's delight. And what's being said today, and it's a long Hayom Yom, but the ultimate message is that each exile had an effect on us as a Jewish people. And we go through all different things. But through this process and through this ultimate exile, we are preparing for the ultimate redemption. And with this, we will see the positivity and find the great ultimate redemption with Mashiach b'mehera b'yameinu. Amen. Have a great Yantif. Have a great Chol Hamoed. I know this was a long one, and I encourage people to also read it inside. All the best.